This is a collection of films that's part of the Santa Barbara Filmmakers section, which is sponsored by Casa Magazine and Sammy's Camera. My name is Russ Spencer. I used to put together the Santa Barbara program. It's now being done in a much more professional way by a professional team of programmers, but they still sort of grandfathered me in as the guy who introduces the film, which I'm proud to do because I developed the section and now it's kind of growing up. As you may have heard, there's far fewer films this year. What the programmers are trying to do is make the Santa Barbara section a viable section, just like all the rest of the sections of the festival, and it's going to be held to a much higher standard and so forth. So this is the first year that's happening. As a result, this is really the cream of the crop of what's coming out of Santa Barbara. So after the film, this is a 96-minute program. There's going to be 8 different films. The last film that you're going to see is called The Condition, and it's a black and white film. And after that film ends, I would like all the filmmakers who are here to come down to the front to be introduced and to answer a few questions. Please turn off your cell phones and stick around for Q&A and enjoy this great collection of films. Thanks. So we're going to do the share the mic thing, and we'll just, when we're going to go down the line, introduce yourself, tell what film you did, and then just tell us what you would like us to know about the making of the film.
Hello, thank you all for coming. And I directed The Meter. Something I'd like you to know about the film. Everything. It was fun, and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't know, I need that. I need a question or something. It was written by Kent Nurburn. It was inspired by an excerpt from A Sweet Lesson in Patience. It's a story that's been floating around the internet for about 2 years now. I saw it, and very similar to my last film, I picked it up and I was like, wow, this really needs to be shared more than just viral links on Facebook and tweeting about. And so I decided to contact my writers and get them to write something about it, and it came to fruition. I'm really stoked that we went through back and forth, like about 14, 15 revisions of the script, and overall everything came out really well, and I'm really stoked about it. Yeah, cool.
One of the producers for The Meter, and one of the things I really liked about the story was how the man's future he just keeps reflecting back on his memories, and it's just a good story. We really wanted to work hard on this one to do well, and we had great actors, great cast, and we just loved it. We loved every minute of filming, and it's great.
I directed the last one, Jack, the only documentary. And I guess what I'll tell you about it is the first question that everyone always asks me is, how did you find him? Because he lives in the middle of nowhere, and I met him through a family friend who had been backpacking in that area, and he came out of the mountains and was like, I met this amazing man named Jack, somebody needs to make a documentary about him. And so we hiked back there together and spent 3 days filming it and hanging out with him. And he's awesome.
Where was that?
Pine Valley. It's between Big Sur and Carmel Valley.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Gumpel. I'm the maker of A Tiny Portal. And it was about a 1.5 year long process, about a year coming up with the story and writing it, and then a week in production and 6 months of post. Post was a lot of fun, and also during post, half of the money was raised through Kickstarter, which was an amazing experience. And I really enjoyed the sound, making the soundtrack. That was a lot of fun.
Great movie. Yeah, love.
The Lucy reference. Cool, you picked that up. Well, the main character is, you know, kind of introverted, you know, so her, where she gets her connection, her human connection is through the TV. And so Lucy is someone who's like her idol, her best friend, and her hair even looks like Lucy a little bit. So that was a Lucy reference. Cool, thanks for picking that up on that, yeah.
My name is Jason Hallett. I wrote and directed Memorial, and the inspiration from the story just came from an email that I received after a friend had passed away, but it was from that friend. And I figured it was spam, but I just had to open it just in case it wasn't. And this is my director of photography, Aaron Ives. Bye.
I just want to tell everybody how hard it is to shoot a movie with a crying girl in the room, because that girl's really crying.
I'm Chris Yasko. I made the first movie, Ride, and there was one bike that was injured during the movie. It was actually crashed into a parking garage with a car, because it was on top. So it's not the most interesting thing that happened in our film.
Okay, questions from the audience? All right, we'll come back down this way. There's a question. I'm sorry.
Hey, Roy, I noticed you had that great scene with reflection in the window as the car was driving along. It was really cool. How many takes did that take? How long did it like the reflection?
That was actually more time in pre-production than in actual production. Because I had to think, like, how can we, make him reflect on his memories? And as I was thinking about this, I was just thinking, like, all right, well, I looked up photos of, like, cabs and things, and there's this photo of this woman leaning against a cab, which was actually tagged for the title Sweet Lesson in Patience. And there was the reflection of, like, New York skyline was in it. I was like, you know what? That would make it, like, really, like, hit home. And so I was thinking how I could shoot that, and then I thought of polarizing cameras. So we put the camera mounted on the outside, and then with the polarizer we can go and see through the window, and then turn it, and then it sees the reflection. So I was like, oh, that's like so cool. And it worked out perfect. We did more takes, more for coverage, but as far as like actual acting and directing, we had it like on the first or second take. Yeah, thanks.
So to get in touch with him, I became close with his family, and once a month he goes to SoCal, which is south of Santa Cruz, to be with his family. So I'm pretty sure he's seen it. I don't know what his response is. I know his family really loves it, but I'll follow up on that.
Okay, we have more time. Okay.
This is a question for everybody. Can you just say what your Santa Barbara connection is? Like for this category, did there have to be a Santa Barbara connection?
I live here. And I've lived here for like 3 years, and this is where I made. Can you guys hear me in the back? And then this is just where I made my connections to all my amazing crew, and I want to thank all you guys that showed up. Thank you. That's pretty much my foundation here, and this is I also go to SBCC and I attend the school there, it's the School of Media Arts, and then my professors there have taught me pretty much everything that I know.
I'm Dustin. I pretty much built my connections through City College, but now I live in LA, producing shorts and training to be a feature film producer. So yeah, I love everybody I work with. It's great.
I'm Grace. I was born in Cottage Hospital, Santa Barbara High, class of 01, and now I live in Venice Beach, but I come up all the time.
I live here and work here.
I moved here about 17 years ago, and this is our 8th film to play in the film festival. 14 years ago, went to Brooks. Never went back.
Yeah, I live here and work here. I actually work 2 blocks away, so half my office walked over here with me.
Going back down the line, could each of the filmmakers talk about what are their plans to do with the film going on? I mean, I obviously got the festival, but are there going to be other goals that they think they want to accomplish?
I'd like to make another one. This is a total surprise to us that we're here at all. We made it about a year ago and just on a whim submitted it, and we're very excited to be here.
Do you have any future plans for this film from Ryan?
I'd be happy to sell it to any market you'd like to. It's very short, so there's not really much I can do with it. But I'd love to make another one.
Yeah, you know, short films, you can't do much with them, so we'll send that to other festivals. But we'd like to do something bigger, longer, you know.
You know, the short films, it's an interesting thing. I mean, they really are. It's practicing filmmaking to do a longer form piece a lot of times, and that's definitely something we keep making them every year, always hoping that we can put enough time and squirrel away enough money to make our feature, and we will do that before 10 years, so we'll see. It might be 11.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, with the tiny portal, I kind of made it thinking that it was practicing for something bigger. But during the process, I felt like I got it out of my system. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but probably done with the tiny portal. But I'd like to do a bigger project, and I feel something kind of coming now. So maybe like a new feature script. I'd like to do a longer piece.
I'd like to make a series of profiles of people, not all hermits, but just different types of people. And eventually I want to make documentary features, so yeah, it's practice for me also.
For the meter, I think we kind of want to try to put it up in more festivals if we can, but we're really lucky and we're happy to have it in this one. And we want to continue making at least one a year in festivals.
I just want to inspire people to, have a little more patience, because it'll affect somebody's life, just every little bit. Sure.
More questions? Yes.
Where do you guys find most of your actors? Or how?
Do you want to say Craigslist on 3? I'll just say Craigslist. Although I did do a Google search and found San Diego actors, and that's where I found our lead right here. Yeah, and I was like really stoked about it. So, yeah.
Breakdown Express. You gotta hit up Breakdown Express. Everybody.
I have a Facebook friend who's a casting agent, and I sent him the script, and he connected to it, and he connected to the characters, and we had a great conversation about it. And I was like, okay, so we were trying to figure out, we wanted somebody in the film, somebody recognizable, somebody talented, and his quote unquote, I'll go after anybody. And so he sent out the script. I learned all kinds of things about casting during this project. Usually I use my friends. And you can really only send out requests for people one at a time, maybe two at a time. If you ask for two of the same people at the same time, you can get yourself into big trouble. And we were under limited time, so it was a really high pressure situation. But Richard really and Ann Benson, Richard really, we got through the casting agent, and with an actor like that, you offer them the role, and then there's no audition process. They either say yes or no, and if they say no, then you have 48 hours, 24 hours to find somebody else. It's really intense, but he said yes. It was wonderful to work with him. And Ann Benson was through LAcasting.com, which is a find, LAcasting.com, and she was extraordinary, really, really awesome.
We have a group of working actor friends down in LA, and the one nice thing about making so many short films is that it starts to become a resume for actors. So like they start emailing you pictures and requests, and they want to be in, because they want to work, and a lot of them don't get to, work that often. So we get a lot of requests and actor requests and stuff. I just got one today, so.
Yeah, I think we found that when you know one actor that takes this craft seriously, you know a million actors. Because they're always going to workshops and classes and trying to better themselves at their craft. And we're really lucky that we have one guy that we met many, many years ago that has continued to hone what he does. And he has a small but hilarious role in the movie we just did. He's got a bunch of fake tattoos and he got to have fun with this role. But he's been in like every movie we've done, I think, except for one. But yeah, and he's just a bud. I mean, we just make movies with our buddies. So it's like, let's get Craig up here. He's also assistant director on this thing. Or, AD. Yeah, he's AD on it. And it was awesome.
I didn't have the actors, I just had a bike rider. Like I said, I work with it.
Okay, we have to wrap it up. One other